Friends, have you ever thought about what the scenario would be like if India were also sitting at the same height in the meetings of the world's biggest and most powerful countries, from where just one word could overturn the entire world's game? Imagine a colossal meeting of the United Nations is taking place. Countries like the US, Russia, China, Britain, and France are seated at the table. And suddenly, India emerges as a new power in the same row. Silence fills the room. All eyes fixate on India. And as soon as India says no, the entire proposal collapses. This is not a film scene, but the dream that burns in the eyes of millions of Indians today. And its name is veto power. This is the power that makes any country the biggest player at the UN's largest table. But friends, before proceeding, I have a request. If you truly feel that India should get the veto power, if you feel that the world will have to accept India's might, then please like this video, share it, and do subscribe to the channel, because your voice is the real power, and this is an issue for all of us. So let's begin this explosive revelation. Friends, first, it is important to understand what the UNSC, or the United Nations Security Council, actually is. This is not an ordinary organization, but the most powerful platform in the entire world. Its work is to maintain global peace, stop wars, resolve disputes between countries, and if necessary, even authorize economic, political, and even military action against a country. In simple words, this organization decides who the boss of the world is and what the standing of each country is. The UNSC has a total of 15 members. 5 of these are permanent members: the US, Russia, China, France, and Britain. And these 5 possess the deadliest weapon, veto power. Now, what is veto power? Simply put, even if the world's biggest decision is being made and any one of these 5 says no, the entire proposal collapses. It means even if the whole world says yes, if one says no, the matter is finished. This is the veto power that India desires. Now the question arises, who are the remaining 10 members? These are non-permanent members who are elected for only 2 years. India has been a non-permanent member 8 times so far. This means India has repeatedly marked its presence in this council, demonstrating its power. But every time the issue of permanent membership and veto power comes up, India is ignored. Why? Friends, this question is not just ours, but the entire world's. Russia, which is still one of the world's biggest military powers, has clearly stated that India should now get permanent membership. The Russian foreign minister even said that the world is no longer like it was in 1945. Circumstances have changed. The countries that were powerful then are still occupying the seat, but now new powers have emerged, and India is foremost among them, not just Russia. But France also stated unequivocally that India should get permanent membership. France said that if true representation of today's world is needed, countries like India must be included. Furthermore, France included Germany, Japan, and Brazil in this list. Now, just think, when countries like Russia and France are supporting India, why is India's path so difficult? This is the mystery that makes this entire game even more sensational. Moreover, the US also clearly stated in 2022 that it supports India's permanent membership. US President Joe Biden himself raised this issue. The G4 countries, India, Brazil, Germany, and Japan, are continuously supporting each other. Small countries like Bhutan and Mauritius also stand in favor of India. Even the UN Secretary General said that yes, the time has come for India to get permanent membership. Now you must be thinking, if so many countries are in India's favor, then where is the catch? Listen, the biggest hurdle is China. China, which is itself a permanent member, does not want India to be part of this club under any circumstances. Why? Because if India becomes a permanent member, its power in Asia will increase manifold. China knows that India's population, economy, democracy, and international image can make it the real leader of Asia. And this is what China perceives as the biggest threat. Therefore, every time there is talk of reform, China puts up an obstruction. Now think about how big an injustice this is. On one hand, India is the country that has sent the maximum number of troops to UN peacekeeping missions. India is the country that has always advocated for global peace. India is the country whose economy is growing the fastest in the world today. And on the other hand, there is China, which has repeatedly threatened its neighbors, attempted to occupy the South China Sea, and created tensions on India's borders. Yet, veto power is with them, not with India. The question here is not just about India, but about the democracy of the whole world. Will the same 1945 structure continue when the world was divided into 2 blocks? Will today's reality be ignored? India has fulfilled its responsibility as a non-permanent member 8 times. Keeping it away from permanent membership now is nothing but a political game, isn't it? Friends, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar clearly stated in Parliament that achieving permanent membership for India is the top priority. India is constantly building pressure with the G4 and L69 groups of countries. But the difficulty is that until all P5 countries agree, this change is not possible. And here again, the same wall stands, the Great Wall of China. Now the question is Even if India becomes a permanent member, will it get the veto power? Some countries say that the new member should only get a permanent seat, not the veto power, because if more countries get the veto, decision making will become even more difficult. But India says that if it gets permanent membership, it should also get equal rights. Otherwise, it will be incomplete justice. Now, just imagine this. The day India gets the veto power, the map of global politics will change. India will be able to cast its vote on any proposal, stop any injustice, and demonstrate its power to the fullest. Imagine what the condition of a country like Pakistan will be when India uses its veto power against it. Imagine how perturbed China itself will be when India has equal power right across from it. This is the fear that has become the biggest obstacle in India's path today. Friends, so far India has served as a non-permanent member 8 times. 1950, 1967, 1972, 1977, 1984, 1991, 2011, and 2021. These are the years when India showed the world that it is second to none of the permanent members. Yet, every time India was only given a temporary seat, not a permanent one. The question is, how long will India have to wait? How long will our power be ignored? Is the voice of India's 140 crore people so weak that the world can ignore it? Absolutely not. India has changed now. India will not bow down now. And this is the real suspense, friends. Why is India not getting the veto power? The answer is simple: world politics. The old countries want to protect their seats. They fear that if India arrives, their decisions will be questioned. They fear that if India arrives, their dominance will end. But there is also a truth. The world is changing now. No one can ignore India's power. It may be late, but the day will surely come when India will get both permanent membership and veto power. And on that day, history will be rewritten. So friends, what do you think? Should India get permanent membership and veto power? Will China's opposition continue forever? Or will India one day sit on the same seat with the world's biggest powers? Do tell us your answer in the comments section. If you found this video informative, share it as much as possible so that the whole world knows why India deserves the veto power. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we keep bringing you such great reports. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.